Well, good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you back to school after what I'm sure was a lovely half-term holiday, or maybe a very busy one if you were competing at the Steddfod, possibly in Markham Park. But we're back in school this morning with myself, Hugh Davis from e-sgol, and we're working this week and next week, over the next fortnight, I should say, with EmpathyLab to bring you two very special assemblies to celebrate Empathy Day Festival, which begins today, obviously, as we're here celebrating, and comes to an end next Thursday, the 12th of June, as Thursday, the 12th of June, is Empathy Day itself. So we'll be bringing you today's assembly as a sort of starting point, a kick-off, if you will, and attending another assembly next Wednesday morning in the hope to see that schools across the country have been learning and taking part in all of the different challenges that EmpathyLab have to offer. And there's a very special theme this year to do with stories and reading. And I'm very glad, therefore, that I've got a special company this morning in the form of a well-known author here in Wales, being Manon Steffan Ros, of course. Bore da, Manon. Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Raring to go for a new half term, the last one of the academic year, of course. Full of energy. Are you feeling full of energy and ready to go for this morning's assembly?
Of course, it's lovely weather outside, and I've already been out for a walk, so I am ready to go.
Excellent, excellent. So, as I mentioned, there is a special theme, isn't there, to this year's Empathy Day Festival. Jump into someone else's story. So, as I say, it's very apt that you're with us today as an author. And I believe that you feature on the EmpathyLab website as one of the featured authors, Manon.
That's right. I recorded a video a couple of years ago. So if you go on the EmpathyLab website, you can see this video that I've created about me going for a walk and talking a little about empathy and what it is and what it means to me.
Excellent. And if you do go to the website, there's a whole host of resources there to do with empathy that are suitable for the whole class and the whole school. So I would encourage every teacher to do so after today's session and get to know more about the Empathy Day Festival. But before we hand over the reins to Manon then, because Manon has got a very special story to do with empathy today, what is empathy exactly? EmpathyLab define it as our ability to experience and understand someone else's feelings and points of view. Would you agree with that, Manon?
Yes, absolutely, I would. I always think of empathy as, you know, that feeling you get when you see someone else and they're clearly feeling some kind of emotion. Like if you see someone and they've fallen over and they're crying and you feel really sad for them and you hope they're going to be okay. Or if you see somebody that's sad and you're wondering why they're sad and you want them to feel better. When you're putting yourself in their shoes and wondering what it would feel like if that was happening to you, I think for me, that's what empathy feels like.
Interesting. And let's see now then if empathy, I'd imagine, is a bit of a theme in the story that you're going to present for us now. So I'll hand over the reins to you. Diolch yn fawr iawn, Manon.
Diolch, Hugh. Yeah, I was thinking today that I would just tell you a little bit of a story about something that happened to me this morning. Because I think empathy plays into our lives every single day and we don't even think about it. We don't always recognize it. And I want to tell you about this walk that I took because I really love walking and I'm really lucky because I live in a beautiful area. And this morning, really early, I decided to go for a walk. I really love going for walks. It gives me time to think and I get to see all different sights and meet people. And this morning, my my path took me along this bridge that you see in the picture. It's a bridge over an old steam railway, and I walked across this bridge. It was really early in the morning, and I was thinking about a lot of things. I had so many things on my mind. I was thinking about all the tidying up I'd have to do when I came home, and I was thinking about all the work I've got to do, but by the end of the week, all the deadlines I've got. I was thinking about my children who are doing exams at the moment, and I was thinking about how to help them with all their hard work. And all of this was bubbling away in my brain as I was walking this morning. And then I turned and I walked along this lovely little lane that you'll see in this next picture. This one, isn't it lovely there? It was so peaceful and quiet this morning. There was a light breeze and I could hear the little lambs bleating, and I felt so lucky when I was walking along here. I felt so lucky that I live in a place like this where I can walk out of my front door and walk along a little quiet lane like that. And I also felt really lucky that I had the time to go out and walk in the morning, because most people go out to work. And I work in my house, so I can go out for a walk sometimes if I want to. And then some people are at school or at college, so they don't get the same opportunity. So when it's really, really quiet in the morning, it's lovely to go out for a walk because it's not too crowded. But then, as I was walking back towards the town, I saw someone. He was waiting at the bus stop. Here he is. Can you see him? He's a young lad standing at the bus stop. And when I was passing, I looked at him and I smiled. But he didn't smile back at me. His face was all covered in his hood. And I thought, it's a bit strange because he was only young. He was about 12 or 13, but he was on his own and he wasn't at school. And then as I passed by, I said hello to him. But he just turned his face away and he didn't say a word to me. Now, this annoyed me. I was walking home and I was quite irritated because the young man had completely ignored me after I'd smiled at him and said hello to him. And I thought that was quite rude, actually. He could have just said hello back, couldn't he? And it got me wondering, well, he's supposed to be at school, surely. Why isn't he at school or at home, getting educated from his mum or his dad? Why is he out in the morning on his own like that? Anyway, I got closer to home, and just across the road to my house, there's a place called the Corbett Hotel. And you probably won't know about the Corbett Hotel, but it was a majestic, grand old place in the middle of my town. Isn't it posh? Look at that. It has loads and loads of bedrooms and so much history. And it's the most lovely building in our town. Well, it was the most lovely building in our town, because this photo that you see here, it's very, very old. The Corbett doesn't look anything like that anymore. In fact, if you saw it now, you probably wouldn't recognize it from that photo. Here it is now. This was a photo I took earlier today. The Corbett Hotel, it's been left for many, many years, and it's getting dangerous. Parts of the roof are falling off, part of the back wall is falling down. So they're having to pull it down because it's dangerous for people who are passing in the street. And every time I open my front door, this is what I see. This old, grand old hotel in the process of being demolished. And it does make me very, very sad. You can't see from this photograph, but just next to the building, there's a street with a little bench. And as I was passing this bench on my way home from my walk, I saw a lady sitting there. "Good morning," I said to her. "Is it?" she replied to me angrily. And oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. In one morning, I'd had a young man completely ignoring me when I said hello to him, and a lady being really rude to me. And I huffed away at home, wondering what the world was coming to, that people were so rude. And then I came into the house and I sat here in this very seat I'm sitting in now, which looks out onto the street and over to the bench on which the lady was sitting. Started doing a bit of writing, working on a new story, And every now and again, I'd look up as I'm looking up now, and I'd see the old lady, and she was still all on her own. And I thought to myself, well, there's no wonder that she's alone if that's the way she talks to people. But the more I was looking at her, the more I started wondering, why is she so angry? And I kept thinking about it and I couldn't relax. So I decided that after I'd made my coffee and washed my dishes, I'd go outside and I'd check if she was okay. And when I did that, when I went outside, do you know what I saw? I saw the young man. Do you remember him? That young man who had ignored me when I said hello to him? He was now sitting on the opposite side of the bench to the lady, and they weren't talking. They were just sitting there at opposite sides of the bench, looking really miserable. And I don't know why I did this, because I've got loads to do today, but I went and sat between them on the bench. It was very awkward because nobody was saying a word until the lady pointed up to the hotel and she said, I worked there for 37 years. And then the young man and I looked over at her and she reached into her pocket for a photograph. This is me in one of the kitchens in the hotel, she said sadly. I was so happy there. And it makes me so sad to think that they're tearing the old place down. She looked so happy in the kitchen in the photograph, like a completely different person. I'm sorry I was snappy with you earlier, she said to me. Sometimes when I get sad, I seem angry or bad-tempered. I don't mean it. I get like that, said the young man. Today, I missed my bus to school. I've been having a bit of a hard time there. And when I get sad, I go really, really quiet. And do you know what? Within no time at all, they were chatting happily to one another about the old hotel, about school, about the way their sad feelings didn't always look like sad feelings from the outside. And it made me think. Because sometimes my sad feelings look like anger or unkindness. Sometimes when I'm sad, I'm not very good at talking to people, and they think that I don't like them anymore. They think that I think that I'm better than everybody else, but usually the opposite is true. Do you get like that sometimes? Well, I'm looking out of my window now and I can see that the young man and the lady are still outside chatting away on the bench. And I know that the young man has phoned his mum to come and pick him up to take him to school, and that the lady has arranged to see her friends for lunch. So for them, talking to other people has really helped them to feel better. Now, I was thinking about all this and I was thinking that I'd like to give you a task. I want you to look at this picture here on the screen. Now, I don't know who this girl is. I don't know where she is. I don't know her name, her age. I don't know anything about her. But I can see her face. And she doesn't look very happy, does she? She looks like she's in a lovely spot there. I mean, it's really sunny and there's loads of greenery around her. But she looks, I don't know, what would you say? Angry? Miserable? I want you to imagine who this girl is. I want you to give her a name. And I want you to think about why she's unhappy. If you saw her, what would you do? Would you help her? And how?
Good question, Manon. So thank you very much for that wonderful story. There was a lot to think about there, wasn't there, from an empathy point of view? But in terms of Manon's challenge, then, we'll just remind you to imagine who the girl is. What's her name? Why is she unhappy? If you were to see her, what would you do? Would you help her? And if so, how would you help her? Well, if you do get a chance to think about this and discuss it as a class or maybe a school, we'd love to hear from you. You can send us your ideas through the Padlet link that's on the screen at the moment, either through the QR code or the link below. And you can send us your ideas either on video form or an audio clip, or maybe if you'd like to write them down, you can take a picture and send us that, whichever way suits you best. We'd love to hear from you. Or perhaps you'll be making a social media post. If you do, again, please tag us, e-sgol. And I know, Manon, you're on X, I think, can't you? Maybe if schools do make a post, would you mind if they tagged you as well?
Absolutely, go for it.
Excellent, excellent. And additionally to that, if you'd like more resources, we'd love to see you taking part in some of EmpathyLab's Empathy Challenge resources, which are available on their website. You can see the address there at the bottom of the screen, www.empathylab.uk. There's a whole host of resources available on the EmpathyLab website. So I'd really encourage you to go and tackle their Empathy Challenge. Whose story will you jump into next? A lot of ideas on the website for you to get to grips with that idea. But for the time being, I'm going to say thank you very much to everyone who attended this morning's special assembly, and a very special thank you to Manon Steffan Ros. Diolch yn fawr iawn, Manon. And will you join us again next Wednesday morning to see what everyone's been getting up to?
I'm really excited to see everyone.
Excellent. So thank you very much, everyone. Diolch yn fawr iawn. We'll see you next week. Hwyl am y tro. Ta-ra.